You are now tuned into Moses Squared podcast. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. Make sure you follow both me and Desmond on social media platforms, as well as subscribing to Moses Squared podcast on YouTube and following Moses Squared pod on Instagram. Enjoy the episode. Welcome in everyone to Moses Squared podcast. I am Lauren Moses, former Division I college basketball player from the University of Virginia, as well as a digital sports reporter today. And I'm here with my brother.
It's your boy, Desmond Moses, former Kansas City Chief, Green Bay Packer. Lauren, we both into television a little bit. Shout out KCTV5, sports analyst, game day, 10 o'clock a.m. We live here in Kansas City. But, Lauren, we love to talk about sports. I mean, we grew up in a home that we're born and bred to be athletes. We talked about it, the game, the psyche. Right now, I feel like people are psyched out. We got a new thing that's hot right now, this blue check. This blue check got people's mental.
It's messing with people.
What's the deal? What would you do for a blue check? What would you do? Because right now, folks are paying for it. But some people will go a lot further in order to get that blue check, to feel official.
Have you seen the show Swarm?
I haven't.
It was on Prime Video. It's essentially where like a fan, they say it's Beyonce fan, but they don't use Beyonce.
Oh yeah. I think I seen a piece of that.
And she'll kill, right? She'll kill for her superstar, her hero. Social media has always did a really good job of misleading people.
Mm-hmm.
And people think that this blue check is gonna allow them to obtain things that they wouldn't usually, I guess. I don't know. I'm going to tell you right here, right now. I'm not paying for a blue check.
Not paying for it. Not going. So you're not going.
I don't. What does a blue check get me?
So let me understand this, because a lot like you said the internet is misleading. People see this blue check. I don't feel if you're more qualified. You've earned it. I mean, it used to mean that you had to be somebody, you had to go through a level of verification and say, okay, this person is someone who, if they say something, may have a low stain, a little rank behind their name. But now we're seeing them as a branded piece, and I get it. I get it. The branding to feel official, but is it official now? Has it lost its?
But that's what I'm saying. I think the point you just made is exactly why no one really cares that much about it. And when I say no one, I mean the people who aren't going to put dollars behind it, right? It used to hold some type of weight in whatever industry you worked in, whatever industry you're trying to build your brand in. But now, because we know that any Joe Schmo off the street can get a blue check, it's like, what is going to really differentiate me from a person that doesn't even have a picture?
Yeah. Well, LeBron said he wasn't going to pay for it, but I guess 2 or 3 weeks removed, he went ahead and decided.
So that's one thing I will say, because even with my job, with different organizations and businesses, you get a gold check. And ever since Elon Musk came along, Twitter has been breaking down left and right. And so our gold check went away for a little bit, right around the time that the whole you have to buy your blue check thing happened. And so we didn't really think anything of it. And then one day it came back. And so I'm curious if that is that's what's happening for celebrities, because I mean, yes, they could buy a blue check, but I don't know. I just don't know if that's going to be a part of their marketing scheme. Like
the blue check. I don't know. See, me, I'm still trying to get down with you social media. I'm a little bit older, 34. I came from the era we wasn't really getting into the pictures. You know what I'm saying? It was self-incriminating to go ahead, hop on and do all these. So as long as for me is if you're official in real life,
but also there's also Twitter Blue. And so Twitter Blue comes with also a blue check, but it comes with the ability, I only know of the ability to edit tweets, which is something that I've always wanted. And a lot of people on Twitter have always wanted, because you cannot edit your tweet once it's out into the world. So the check the check mark that we're seeing with these celebrities, with these public figures, could be because they are a member of Twitter Blue.
Okay.
I don't know.
That's my thing. Elon, I know you about that money. He about getting that money. Elon is a money man. I like it. I'm all about checks. Real checks, blue checks, not so much. But I'm with it. I just feel like it's a money play. It's one of them things now. They understand it's a revenue stream, which as a business play, as a business model, I totally understand it. Just as a consumer, I don't know who's real or fake now. Everybody verified, and none of them real.
Yeah. Well,
what's the deal?
Who knows? And honestly, God bless you.
God bless you. Hey, if you pay for it, do what you got to do. If it's good for the business, if it's good for the brand, I understand. I'm with you. I'm
You with
with
you with
you.
all these rhymes today.
Hey,
You want to
I'm
go lay
feeling
a
real
track
New
down
York
or
today. I
something?
got my New York journal. You know what I'm saying? I'm feeling like we might have to, spit a
Get in the
freestyle.
stew.
It's natural.
Get,
It's feeling good
might have
today.
might have to get in the stew. Okay, well, we'll talk about being verified. There are a
Yeah.
lot of players, especially in the NFL, who are this is their time. This is their time to show what they've been working on this off season. They're about to get with their teams, OTAs. When does OTA start?
OTAs have started already.
Oh,
Check that. Rookie mini camp has started. So that means young guys who are in the preferred free agents, guys who just got drafted, maybe some young guys off the practice squad from the year prior. They're in camp right now. They're getting some extra reps. They're working. They're getting that, getting the playbook down, getting those reps in before the veterans get in. Because when the vets get there,
yeah.
vets want to come right in. They want you to be on the same page. They don't want you to be, messing up assignments because these guys are, they're about their business once they get there. This off season part of the years is crucial
Yeah.
for the mental aspect of the game and forming that camaraderie, that gel that will show later on in the seasons. We see all the great teams that have it: the New England Patriots, the Kansas City Chiefs. These teams, they're working right now in this offseason to get young guys on the same page so they can make an impact later in the year.
Yeah, well, you talk about big names. There are many big names
Oh
that
yeah,
are free agents, or were free agents, are still free agents, some of them.
yeah.
But it's Aaron Rodgers. That has to be the biggest one.
Got to be one of the
Mr.
biggest.
Mr.
Absolutely.
A-Rod. You
Yes,
played with
sir.
the man. You were on the same part of the same franchise with this man.
Yeah.
Is he as much drama as he brought
You
on
know
this
what? I've
franchise?
probably answered that question more in the last 2 months than I have throughout my entire life. Obviously, prior to playing with him, I didn't get asked about A-Rod, but I had somebody ask me the other day, man, what type of guy is he? And I was like, you know what? He's one of the most down to earth cats that you could imagine. He's a NorCal guy, so very chill. Has a kind of a cynical personality. But if someone talked to you every single day, good, bad, or in different moods, sometimes they're going to get different type of clips. He's just that. He's human.
Yeah.
And keep this in mind. It's Green Bay. He's the biggest thing since sliced bread, since Brett Favre. He has to go
Since
and,
corn.
and, and battle the media every single day. So sometimes they don't get his best all the time, but being his teammate for over a year and seeing what type of guy he was, how he treated everybody all the way down the totem pole, including a guy like myself who was an undrafted free agent, it was all love. He was one of the guys and one of my favorite teammates. So shout out A-Rod.
Yeah, I
Real one.
mean, there's some news this week, I believe, that came out where obviously we know that he signed with the New York Jets now,
Big
but there was
news.
a deal
Big
that
news.
that they are reconstructing his deal to try to just help their situation for the future in regards to paying him more this year so that they don't have to as much 2024 and 2020 or 2023 and 2024 maybe.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this. However, the reconstructing it low, New York Jets are ecstatic right now. They just
Oh
went
yeah.
from being a middle of the bunch type of team, a team that really didn't have a chance to win in the playoffs, go deep into the playoffs for sure. But now they've turned into a pretender, from a pretender into a contender, because the New York Jets, I mean, they had a good defense. They got some young pieces. They have some stars on defense. Even on offense, they have some guys in which they really like. They can get the ball to. They just didn't quite have the quarterback. And we all know in the NFL, in the National Football League, you have to have that elite quarterback play in order to get through the playoffs and to beat these guys, because we see the Patrick Mahomes, we see, these guys who are just top tier. You got to have that special play from your quarterback in the playoffs to get a win.
So let me ask you this, because I work in news, I work in sports
Absolutely.
news, and I hear all the one-liners that the reporters get from these guys. And Zach Wilson, everyone knows he wasn't. He said he's not going to lay down, right? And he's going to make Aaron Rodgers' life a living hell every single day in practice.
Sorry, I'm laughing at this young brother.
That's hilarious, right? It's funny, but I'm curious as someone who used to play in the
Yeah,
NFL, if a young guy who might have been on a team before you thinks that you're not about to take his spot, how are you
yeah.
showing up every day to practice?
I mean, it's that's a mindset you have to have as a pro athlete. If Zach Wilson came out and said anything other than I'm going to go out and compete day in and day out. I'm going to go out and give Aaron Rodgers a run for his money. You'd be concerned about this guy,
Yeah.
But the reality is, for the organization, Aaron Rodgers, and everybody surrounding this organization, we understand and know it's not really a competition. It's not a quarterback battle going on in New York. Aaron Rodgers is QB1. He'll be QB1 until he decides to wear a different color or go home. And
Yeah.
it's Zach Wilson's job to go out there every day and improve and battle. Compete with Aaron Rodgers so that he can improve his game, and for the organization, they get a quarterback in the future, hopefully the near future, that is ready to play, ready to compete, and help this organization continue once Aaron Rodgers hangs his hat up. But for a guy like Aaron Rodgers, we just talked about a down year for him. Was 3,700 yards, 25 plus touchdowns, and
Something's
an
like,
exceptional passer rating. Folks
something's
are
like.
complaining. That's Aaron Rodgers.
So what does an up year look like for him? I feel like you said, a down year for Aaron Rodgers, it's very hard. I mean, obviously, if you watch the Stephen A's and
Yeah.
ESPNs of the world, yes, they're going to call out every little thing. But I think what I see from Aaron Rodgers in his interviews when he goes on the Pat McAfee show, and what he talks about is his team success.
Yeah.
And you've already talked about how great of a teammate that he has been. How can he go to the New York Jets, and whether it's 33, 38, 3,800, what will success look like in New York?
Yeah, I mean, they want the efficient Aaron Rodgers. We talked about an elite year. Last year was considered a down year, just under 3,700 yards, 26 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 90. I mean, this is a good year for it. 9 out of 10 quarterbacks in the NFL.
Exactly.
If you're a franchise, you want your quarterback to be playing at this level. But again, for a guy like Aaron Rodgers, we're talking about years where he had 4,300 yards, 48 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. I mean, this is incredible. 4,600 yards, 45 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 4,300 yards, 39 touchdowns, 8 This is, world class. We're not talking about a guy who can go out and just help you win some games. When Aaron Rodgers takes the helm for your organization, for your team, not only as, his surrounding teammates, defenders, instantly we got a chance to win some football games and to win a championship. I'm surprised he hasn't had more success over his career with these stats. The way we've held him in that regard, he only has 1 Super Bowl win. We talked about him, Tom Brady. Obviously, I think Tom Brady is taking the tip right now, but Aaron Rodgers has a lot to prove. He's in a much better situation. He has some weapons, and I'm a fan. I'm going to be locked in this year, love, to see what my guy got cooking. I want to see a championship in New York.
He's hype, but he's an old head. Let's go to one of the
Don't do
youngsters.
that.
Let's go to one of the youngsters who is a star, who is now the highest paid NFL player in history. Lamar Jackson, quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens. He loves Baltimore. Okay. He is
when you
the one
say in
person.
history, he's not. This is not the highest contract. Just so our viewers are in tune with that. Patrick Mahomes still has the largest guaranteed, the largest contract. I mean, granted, it's much longer. Now, year for year, I believe this is the highest salary year to year for any contract ever. Obviously, they reset the precedent every contract year. But yes.
And when I say youngster, he's 26 years old.
Wow. And that's impressive.
Yeah.
That's impressive, Lo. There's a young man, the quarterback from Georgia that just came in. This guy just came out of college. Stedham. I believe he's older than Lamar, and Lamar is going into his 6th year in the NFL. Now put that into perspective. Lamar Jackson's going into his 6th year in the NFL. He's younger than one of the quarterbacks coming out, quarterback of Georgia right now. This just shows his youth, the potential, and which is why so many teams, were excited about him. Obviously, his style is a little bit different, Lo, but from your point of view, why did it take so long to get this thing done? We've touched on it a little bit before, but for Lamar Jackson, who is obviously a world-class talent, we talked about the stats which are a little bit skewed. Aaron Rodgers versus a guy like him, he's never thrown over 3,200 yards.
Yeah, but he has those legs. He has that quickness. He uses it to his advantage. Baltimore Ravens use it to their advantage as well against opponents. And so I think that's what I have seen just watching his game. But also I think that it a little bit. I think this has a little bit to do with the fact that he represents himself
Mm-hmm.
and that he doesn't have an agent. Obviously, I don't know what happens in those rooms, what happens with negotiations, but I do know a lot of people who do.
Yeah.
And that is an arena of its own. That is an entire career, entire field, and his niche is on the field, right? I'm
Absolutely.
sure he's learned a thing or two since his just being in the NFL, but I don't know why it took so long. I think he knows himself, right? I'm watching Air, the movie Air about Michael Jordan.
Oh yeah, great
His
movie. Just
mom
watched it.
just
Great
literally just
movie.
watched it today. We're gonna have to do a podcast all on that because you are the only person, you and your mama,
Right.
the only people who have
On Dukes and
100% faith in you.
Yeah.
Understand your potential, understand what you are striving for every single day. And so I think that had a lot to do with it as well. Representing himself, knowing his potential, and knowing that he is an investment. You're not going to treat me like some guy on the street. No, I've been loyal to Baltimore.
Yeah.
Baltimore loves me, right? Like I think that those are things that he had to take into play. But for you, what is it that you saw that was successful in this contract?
You know what? I think it was his patience. You know, a lesser man would have bowed and would have, you know, given in maybe when things got a little meek, you know, when they held out a little bit but kudos for Lamar. You know, I think he made some decisions late in the season last year to protect himself, to protect his body, to protect the asset that he is. And quite frankly, you know, coming into this season healthy is part of what got this deal done. If Lamar had got nicked up late in the season, that could have been an injury. That could have been something to hold this deal up and some leverage for the Baltimore Ravens. Maybe saying, hey, this is wild. You know, your play style, you know, it may not have the longevity. It may not, but this money is already due. Mm-hmm. Let that be clear. When you get paid in the NFL, it's reparation. They're paying back. This is back pay. You know, so that means that clearly he set a precedent.
Is this what the rappers call back end?
This that back end. You know what I'm saying? It's that back end they're talking about. Because you don't get what you're paid up front. You get what you're paid on the back end and what the team thinks that you're worth. For Lamar and the organization, I think they both won. He's a great
Let's make it clear. Let's make it clear that he could have gone somewhere else, right?
Yeah. But I think this is the best fit for them both.
Oh, yeah, for
sure.
They
built around him. They built that style. They got a big offensive line. They got big targets, big tight ends, you know, running threats. This is a team right now that's structured. They could go out and win a championship this upcoming year. They have a good enough defense year in and year out. Now they got Lamar happy. They added some other pieces like Zay Jones, some of these guys who
I want to talk about that. Yeah, I want to talk about some of the weapons that he'll be throwing to because I think that is something that a lot of reporters
great additions.
About. Yeah, I mean, you talk about Odell Beckham.
Yeah.
Like Odell Beckham, Zay Flowers, those are two of the names that I've seen the most. But obviously in reporting, there's always some negative, right? Odell's coming off of an injury. Zay Flowers is kind of the shortest person that, like, who even knows this? That Zay Flowers is the shortest person that Lamar Jackson would have ever thrown to? Like,
I don't feel like that's true. He had another little scat receiver a couple years ago that couldn't catch a cold. But, you know, I think it's just, you know, with the tight end that he has right now, and Andrews, all pro talent, great hands, hell of an athlete. You know, you bring on a guy like Odell, who again, he has a lot to prove. He's been off for some time.
Yeah.
It's hard in the NFL to take that much time off and come back and still have that twitch, still have that explosiveness. Even for a guy like Odell, who's a special talent, he's going to have to come out and prove himself. But all of these things combined, the energy, the hard bars, you know, the mentality, the feel of that team. Come on.
Baltimore loves them some Ravens. Like, I don't care where they are in the country. They are going to be having their jerseys on every Sunday. So
I'm going to say it right now, Lo. I'm going to say it right now. Baltimore, they'll be in the division finals, the conference finals, excuse me. They'll be in the conference finals for their league. I think they're going to be that good. I think that Lamar is going to be that motivated. And I think he got some other guys around him who will be motivated and can really get it done.
Okay. Well, that is a great segue.
Call Vegas.
Talking about
what's the odds?
Call Vegas.
Everything got odds now, Lo.
talking about motivations, right? Because some people are motivated for whatever reasons, right? Could
Yeah.
be money motivated,
Blue checks, real
blue
checks.
checks, green checks, gold checks. However, some people are getting dinged in the NFL for their gambling. And this is something that we talked about last season when I believe Calvin Ridley of the Atlanta Falcons, he was
Yep.
suspended indefinitely.
Great receiver, great young receiver.
Yep, he was suspended indefinitely for the 2022 season. And now we have a whopping 5 players in the NFL. 3 of them will be suspended indefinitely, and 2 will be have to sit out the first 6 games.
Okay, picture this, Lo. Picture this, because now we're going to have we're having some issues.
Okay.
We're having some issues in the NFL and some conflict of interest. And I say that because I seen a video the other day, and it was Mattress Bob, the mattress guy, whoever it is, big time gambler, known for gambling. He's in this event. I think it was around the Kentucky Derby. Walks up to Patrick Mahomes. Now, granted, Patrick Mahomes, we just talked about the contract he's on, $500 million. Obviously, a guy that may not be motivated by money. But walks up to Patrick Mahomes, whispers in his ear, loud enough for the camera to pick it up and for them to get a description of what's going on. They literally had word for word. They could hear this. He's telling them, "Oh man, you cost me 5 to 10 million or something betting against you this season." Whispered. Patrick kind of laughs, and now this becomes a slippery slope, as I tweeted, because a number of reasons. Patrick Mahomes is financially stable, well off, as we would assume, coming into new money. Now, what if this was a young guy or a veteran guy who may have money issues, who may not be established like that, and gets a proposition from a guy like a mattress, Max, Bob, whoever, gets an offer from him and potentially throws a game to try and correct their financial. This is a slippery slope because not only do these partnerships exist, the NFL and these gambling companies are partnering, endorsing one another, holding events, inviting players, and then telling the players that they cannot have any sort of involvement in betting when they're literally intertwining the two.
Yeah.
That's how it happened in Boston College. It was one of the, the mafia guys, the mobsters, got in touch with one of the players who was struggling. And now, not to say it's going to be to that extent, but we all know greed is a real thing, Lo. So when you mix these two things, based on what I just explained, what does it sound like we're headed for? Last year was one guy. This year is 5 guys.
I mean,
what should we expect in 2024?
It sounds like a trend, right? It sounds like this is where the NFL is going to try to create some of their budget from. I don't know. I think I mean, just based on what you share with me, I don't think the two worlds should collide. If that is going to be a rule, as in you cannot play, you are suspended indefinitely. I don't see much of a reason as to why there would be events where betting events, where gambling event or whatever the event is that could get them caught up. I don't see why both of them need to be there.
I mean, it's just creating the relationships. We know the power of relationships. It only takes one guy to meet one guy that's in a wrong situation or in the right situation. And then we really got, the integrity of the game is compromised. And I've sat in plenty of offseason meetings to hear how important the integrity of the game is. We want to play it the right way. They say it every year, every offseason. And we're like, we got it, and then we
and then we have a situation. I'm curious. We know what the league is saying. What are GMs saying? What are the leaders of these franchise saying? Like, what's the messaging there, right? Because I feel like it might be a slippery slope because these two worlds are colliding. But I also would have to imagine all these other trainings that they're coming out of the woodworks with, that there's some type of training about how to stay away from this, ways to report, then like things that they could do to stay ahead of it if you wanted to, right? Because these are what, 5 men out of hundreds, but still, I don't know. What is a way to prevent this from becoming a trend? Not prevent it from happening, because people are going to do, like we said, people are motivated by different things.
Right.
But how could they stop it from becoming an annual scandal?
And it was well. We will hope that again the NFL. I've seen a lot of conversations. I've seen a lot of quotes that really concern me, talking about just the nature of the business, the NFL being entertainment versus, um, you know, sports. Which I'm like, then they say if it's entertainment, you can technically fix it. If it's, I'm like, now we're talking slippery slope. Now we're talking WWE. We're talking, the heartbreak I felt
Talking
when I was a kid,
performative.
and
We're talking performative. Like what?
yeah, like straight, like predetermined outcomes. Like I would be heartbroken like I was as a kid when I heard that WWE was fake. When I heard The Rock and them, hold on, you telling me this is scripted? No, that hurt, love.
I'm gonna just let you know I've never thought that was real. So you might have just
You wasn't young enough to know when we thought WWE was real. WWE was real. We
I
thought it
saw
was real,
WWE as
sis.
a child and I turned the channel because why are these grown men flipping around?
Nah. By the time you came to, we had already discovered this thing was fake, but
That's
that
hilarious.
would be the devastation caused by something like this taking place. And that's why I think for me as a true fan, somebody who played the game, who truly loved the game, I hope that the NFL can keep a grasp on the integrity of it. I hope the games can continue to feel and be pure. I hope the best team is going out there and actually winning, and that we're not being fed some sort of outcome in order to excite us, because that feels scandalous.
Yeah, it
That feels
does.
really scandalous.
Well, we have all summer to just hope and pray.
Right. Hopefully they keep it tight, Lo.
We do, but we also have a summer where I'm sure more storylines will come out. There are still a lot of big names that have yet to, figure out what their compensation is going to look like. We have our boy Joe Burrow. We have
Yeah.
Justin Herbert. We have Ezekiel Elliott. There's a lot, but just off the top of my head right now, are there any other names that you're looking forward to seeing what their numbers look like?
To be honest, you said Zeke. Zeke's one of them I'm very interested in. I see the off-season videos every year. They
Yeah.
look cool. I don't know if they're slowing them down or speeding them up, but
I say interesting as in not like woohoo, we're gonna get.
no,
I
I'm
don't
just
know.
interested to see if he
I'm
got any gas left in the tank.
I'm interested to see in who believes in him still.
Yeah, I mean it's the NFL is finicky like that. And that's one of the things that I don't love. I wish they would give veterans more of an opportunity to go out there, even if they are at the end of their career, to go out there and lead some of these young guys. We see it in the NBA. My man down in Miami,
Oh
OG
yeah,
down in Miami.
Giannis. Mm-hmm.
He been there for 20 years. He ain't played in 10 years, but he's healthy for the team. He shows these young guys how to be professionals, and it's value. It's value there. So I hope some of these guys that really do have a little left in the tank get to go out and show some of these young guys how to be professionals, how to work their craft, because I think it'll be good for the longevity of the game.
Only difference I would say are the dollars. I'm sure there's a pay cut that
Yeah,
NFL vets are not going to want to see.
you'll
But
be
I do like
surprised.
that. I do like that aspect of it though, because we've seen how valuable that is for the team.
Absolutely.
Right, right now they are competing for Eastern Conference Final. They're competing, trying to be a NBA champion. So
Yeah.
there is value in that. So that's interesting to see how that could possibly unfold. Who knows?
Absolutely. On a team that nobody really gave a huge shot to, which
I mean,
coincidentally
they
are the
were
same.
playing.
Yeah, I
They
mean the
were
same four
playing.
teams that are left from the bubble, which everybody thought was a fluke.
Yeah.
But they have a lot of veterans. Both teams have really good veterans, all the way down to the Tristan Thompsons our man Tristan, down in the late.
Do not say okay. I think it's time to wrap up because y'all want me to go in on
Brother practice hard. He play
dirty big
hard. We
dirt
know he
dirt.
play hard. Well, playing
Thank
him.
you guys.
We gonna chill on Tristan tonight. He's not topic and subject tonight, so
Oh
we
my
gonna let
goodness. Yeah,
Tristan live.
we'll do another episode on toxicity.
Yeah,
Um,
don't do him like that.
But thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode all about NFL, free agency, gambling, what we are, the names we're just looking forward to seeing in the production we look forward to this upcoming season. Make sure you follow us on Instagram right at the bottom, Moses Square Pod, as well as our personal handles, which will be in the the link, the description box down
below. Yeah. And if y'all got any questions, tag us, ask them, drop them in. We'll get them answered for you.
Yep.
It's your boy, Desmond Moses, my sis, Lamar Moses, Moses Squared. We out.